Welcome to our deep dive into the science of dreams. We're going to be using this book, The Mind at Night by Andrea Rock.
Oh, yeah?
It's packed with research and expert insights, and we're going to unpack it all to figure out
Right.
how and why we dream and what those dreams might be telling you.
Right.
For centuries, people turned to theories like Freud's psychoanalysis and Jung's collective unconscious for answers, but modern science is painting a very different picture.
It is. It's fascinating how neuroscience in particular is changing our understanding of dreams.
Right.
We're moving away from those classic dream dictionaries and delving into the actual brain activity happening while we sleep.
Right, so less about symbolism and hidden meanings, more about what's actually going on in our heads.
Yeah.
One of the biggest breakthroughs Rock highlights is the discovery of REM sleep.
Oh, right.
That sleep stage where our brains are super active and we have those crazy, vivid dreams.
Yeah.
This was back in the 1950s with researchers like Eugene Azarinsky and Nathaniel Kleitman using early EEG technology to watch the brain in action.
Wow.
What did those early observations tell us about dreams?
Well, they revealed that during REM sleep, there's a paradox.
Okay.
Our brains are buzzing like we're awake, but our muscles are essentially paralyzed.
Oh, wow.
It's like this hidden world of consciousness opened up, and it really shifted the direction of dream research.
I see.
Then came William Dement,
Okay.
who was obsessed with figuring out what was happening in our brains during REM sleep.
So Dement's work seems like a real turning point. From what I read, he was initially influenced by Freud, even thinking that a lack of dreaming could lead to mental illness.
Yeah.
But his own research with patients who had schizophrenia challenged that idea.
Interesting.
How did that impact the field?
Well, it highlighted that dreams weren't just about repressed desires bubbling to the surface. People with schizophrenia, despite their mental health challenges, still experienced normal REM cycles and reported having dreams.
Oh, wow.
So Dement's research, along with other studies, started pushing researchers away from purely psychoanalytic interpretations and towards more biological understanding of dreaming.
So if dreams weren't just a way to process repressed desires, what were they for?
Oh, yeah. That's the question.
This is where the activation synthesis theory comes in, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
J. Allen Hobson, a researcher initially skeptical of Freudian dream interpretation, proposed this groundbreaking theory.
Okay.
Instead of focusing on hidden meanings, he shifted the focus to the brain's inherent activity during REM sleep, specifically in the brainstem.
Hold on, the brainstem.
Yeah.
Isn't that the part of the brain that controls basic functions like breathing and heart rate?
Right.
What does that have to do with dreaming?
It's a great question.
Yeah.
Hobson's theory suggests that dreams arise from the brain trying to make sense of the random neural activity happening in the brainstem during REM sleep. It's like our brains are taking this neural noise and weaving a narrative out of it, almost like improvising a story.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
So instead of dreams having some predetermined meaning, they're more like our brain's way of creating a story out of essentially random electrical impulses.
That's the essence of the activation synthesis theory.
Okay.
And later brain imaging studies using PET scans, like those by researchers, Tom Balkin and Alan Braun, provided even more detail. They showed that specific areas of the brain involved in creating mental images are highly active during REM sleep,
Oh, wow.
even though the areas that process visual input from the real world are relatively quiet.
Oh.
This helps explain why dream imagery can be so vivid and surreal.
So our brains are basically creating these elaborate visual landscapes without any actual external input?
Yeah,
That's wild.
it is.
But Hobson's theory wasn't the final word on the subject, was it?
Right.
Rock also dives into the work of Mark Solms, who took a different approach to understanding dreaming. His work with patients with brain lesions led him to a different part of the brain altogether, right?
Yes. Solms focused on the ventromedial forebrain,
Okay.
a region also known as the seeking system. It's involved in motivation and desire,
Okay.
those basic urges that drive us. Solms discovered that when this area was damaged, people stopped dreaming altogether.
So this suggests that dreaming isn't just about random neural firing in the brainstem.
Right.
It's tied to a system in the brain that's all about wanting and seeking.
Precisely.
Okay.
Solms' research suggests that dreams might be linked to our core motivations and desires, even if those desires aren't always conscious or socially acceptable. Interestingly, his findings ended up supporting some aspects of Freud's theories, though, in a very different neurobiological way.
That's such a fascinating twist.
Yeah.
It seems like the science is constantly evolving, uncovering new layers of complexity. So we've gone from dreams as wish fulfillment to random neural activity to this idea of the seeking system being involved. What does this tell us about the purpose of dreaming?
That's the question researchers are still trying to answer.
Yeah.
But it's clear that dreams are far more than just random noise or repressed desires playing out in our sleep.
Okay.
They seem to be linked to fundamental brain processes involved in learning, memory, and even emotional regulation.
Right.
So
Yeah.
there's a lot more to uncover.
Yeah, there's a lot more to uncover.
A lot more to uncover about dreams.
Okay, well, let's take a break and we'll come back and talk more about this in just a minute.
Sounds good.
So we've explored these different theories about what might be happening in our brains during dreams, but what's the point of it all? Are dreams actually doing something for us beyond just providing nightly entertainment?
Well, there's growing evidence that dreams play a crucial role in how we learn and process memories. One of the leading theories proposed by Jonathan Winson suggests that REM sleep evolved specifically for this purpose.
Okay.
Think of it as a way for our brains to sort through the day's experiences and consolidate important information.
That makes sense. I've definitely had those moments where I wake up feeling like I've learned something or gained a new perspective on a problem just from dreaming about it.
Yeah,
Is that what Winston was getting at?
exactly. And there's some fascinating research to back up this idea.
Okay.
Matthew Wilson, for example, did some incredible work with rats navigating mazes.
Oh, right.
He found that the same patterns of neural activity that occurred when the rats were learning the maze reappeared during their REM sleep.
So it's like the rats were literally replaying their experiences in their dreams.
Right.
Does that happen in human brains too?
There's a lot of research pointing in that direction.
Okay.
Studies have shown that different types of memories, from learning a new skill to remembering specific events, get processed during sleep. And when researchers look at brain activity during REM sleep, they see specific regions involved in learning lighting up, almost as if the brain is reviewing and consolidating the day's lessons.
That's incredible. It makes you wonder if those all-nighters cramming for a test are actually counterproductive. Maybe we'd be better off getting a good night's sleep and letting our brains do the work for us.
There's definitely evidence to suggest that sleep, and specifically REM sleep, is essential for consolidating memories and improving learning.
Yeah.
So, yes,
Okay.
pulling an all-nighter might actually be doing more harm than good.
Right.
But it's not just about memorizing facts and figures.
Yeah.
Dreams also seem to play a crucial role in how we process emotions, especially difficult ones.
That makes me think of Rosalind Cartwright's research on dreaming and mood regulation. She focused a lot on how people process negative emotions through dreaming, particularly those going through a divorce.
Right.
What did she find?
Cartwright's work was groundbreaking in highlighting the emotional function of dreams.
Okay.
She found that people who were able to recover more quickly from the emotional upheaval of divorce tended to have more vivid dreams that directly incorporated their experience. It was like their brains were actively working through the complex emotions and helping them adjust to the changes in their lives.
So it's not just about repressing those negative feelings.
Oh.
It's about facing them, even if it's in the safe space of a dream.
Exactly. And dream recall seems to play a role here too.
Okay.
Those who could remember their dreams more vividly seem to reap greater emotional benefits. Cartwright even explored ways to intentionally disrupt negative dream patterns in people with depression, hoping to guide them towards more positive emotional pathways.
That's really interesting. It's like our brains are acting as our own therapists, helping us process difficult emotions while we sleep.
Yeah.
Speaking of taking control of our dreams, Rock also delves into the fascinating world of lucid dreaming.
Right.
For a long time, this idea of being aware you're dreaming while still in the dream was dismissed as New Age fantasy, but the science seems to be catching up.
It is.
Yeah.
Steve LaBerge's research was instrumental in bringing scientific rigor to this study of lucid dreaming. He used clever experiments to prove that lucid dreaming was a real and measurable state of consciousness. For example, he instructed lucid dreamers to perform specific actions in their dreams, like changing their breathing patterns or singing a particular song.
Right.
And these actions were reflected in physiological recordings.
So it's not just anecdotal evidence. There's actual scientific data to support the idea that we can become conscious within our dreams and even exert some control over what happens.
Precisely. And this opens up all sorts of possibilities.
Yeah.
LaBerge believed that lucid dreaming could be a powerful tool for personal growth, creative exploration, and even overcoming fears.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine being able to consciously shape your dreams, facing those anxieties head-on in a safe environment, or experiencing things that would be impossible in waking life.
That's mind-blowing. Rock describes some incredible examples of lucid dream experiences, including people solving creative problems, experiencing the sensation of flying, or even having orgasms.
Yeah,
It really pushes the boundaries of what we think is possible with the human mind.
it does.
It definitely makes you wonder what other hidden capabilities our brains might possess.
Yeah.
But even if we're not all lucid dreamers, there's still this basic question of how we make sense of our dreams.
Right.
They can be so strange and illogical, full of symbols and bizarre scenarios. Do we need to decode them to get something out of them?
That's where things get tricky.
Okay.
Rock cautions against relying on simplistic dream dictionaries that assign universal meanings to symbols.
Okay.
Instead, she emphasizes the importance of a personalized approach to interpretation.
So instead of trying to fit our dreams into some predetermined framework, we should be focusing on the emotional themes and personal associations that emerge.
Exactly. Our brains are constantly seeking meaning both in waking life and in dreams.
Mm-hmm.
We're wired to create narratives, to find patterns and explanations even where they might not exist.
Right.
But when it comes to dreams, the most valuable insights often come from simply paying attention to the recurring themes, characters, and emotional landscapes that populate our dream worlds.
It's like each of us speaks our own unique dream language. We just need to learn how to listen.
I think that's a beautiful way to put it. Dreams offer a window into our inner world, a world that operates by its own rules and logic.
Mm-hmm.
They can be a source of wonder, insight, and even creative inspiration if we're willing to pay attention.
It's amazing to think that something as seemingly random as dreams could hold so much meaning and potential.
Yeah.
Earlier, we talked about dreams helping us process difficult emotions, but Rock also explores the flip side of that, the idea that dreams can be incredibly creative.
Right.
And even lead to breakthroughs in waking life. I mean, there's that famous story of Paul McCartney composing Yesterday in a dream.
Oh, yeah, that's a classic example.
Right.
That story perfectly illustrates the power of dream-inspired creativity. Think about it during REM sleep. The parts of our brain that are usually in charge of logic and critical thinking take a back seat, allowing for more spontaneous and unusual connections to form.
Yeah.
It's like our inner critic falls asleep and our imagination runs wild.
It reminds me of what we were talking about earlier with the activation synthesis theory.
Yeah.
The brain is taking all this random neural activity and trying to make sense of it, weaving a story, but maybe it's also weaving together ideas in new and unexpected ways.
Exactly. It's a fascinating possibility. And Rock highlights other instances where dreams seem to have sparked creative solutions.
Okay.
There's the story of a chemist who dreamt of rotten cabbages, which led him to discover a new enzyme for refining crude oil.
Oh, wow.
Sounds bizarre.
Yeah.
But it just goes to show that sometimes the most creative solutions come from unexpected places.
So if we're struggling with a creative block or a challenging problem, could our dreams actually hold the key?
Yeah.
Is there a way to tap into that potential?
There's a concept called dream incubation,
Okay.
where you intentionally focus on a problem or question before you fall asleep, hoping to find a solution in your dreams.
So how does it work?
Well,
Do you just go to bed thinking, I really need to solve this problem and hope for the best?
it's a little more structured than that.
Okay.
The key is to set a clear intention before you drift off to sleep. Really focus on the problem you're trying to solve or the question you're trying to answer. Visualize it. Write it down. Say it out loud. Whatever helps you really internalize it.
Like giving your subconscious a homework assignment while you sleep.
Exactly.
Okay.
And it's helpful to keep a dream journal by your bedside that way. If you wake up with a dream that seems relevant, you can jot down the details before they fade.
Yeah.
The key is to be open to whatever your subconscious throws at you. Remember, the dreaming mind doesn't always follow the rules of logic, so the solution might come in a very unexpected form.
It's such a fascinating idea. It makes you wonder what other potential we haven't even tapped into yet when it comes to our dreams.
It really does, and I think that's what's so captivating about this whole field of research. Even with all the scientific advances, there's still a sense of mystery and awe surrounding dreams. They offer us a glimpse into a world beyond our everyday reality, a world where anything seems possible.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into the science of dreams, what's the biggest takeaway you hope our listener walks away with?
I think the most important message is that dreams are not just random nonsense. They are a product of our brain's intricate workings, a reflection of our memories, emotions, and even our deepest desires.
Right.
By paying attention to our dreams, exploring their potential functions, and even experimenting with techniques like lucid dreaming, we can gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and maybe even unlock hidden creative potential.
It's like we've been given this incredible tool for self-discovery, and we're only just beginning to understand how to use it next time you wake up from a particularly vivid dream. Take a moment to reflect on its imagery, its emotions, its hidden messages. You might be surprised at what you discover.
And before you drift off to sleep tonight, ask yourself this. If you could consciously influence your dreams, what would you explore or create? Let that question guide you as you enter the fascinating world of your own mind.
That's great advice. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive into the science of dreams.
It was my pleasure.